What's good, family? So smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So we got an update right now as it pertains to Dillian, the cuckold White. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Dillian White has been cuckolded, 100%. He in the cupboard, he peeping right now. Tyson Fury is on the bed with the WBC belt, and Dillian is in the cupboard with Barry. Yeah, peeping. He cucked. Call me a lie. Is or is he not cucked? 100% confirmed. Now, the point of this video is that Team Fury have now broken their silence and essentially spoken on this ruling from the WBC to cuck Dillian. Yeah? Bob Arum's come out and said the following. Their decision was appropriate. Fury may end up fighting White, but we'll see. If we do end up fighting White, it won't be with the requirement of the WBC. He goes on. White is an excellent fighter when the time comes, and it will come soon, for Tyson to figure out his next opponent, then White should be at the top of the list. But essentially, we still want to fight Usyk. That's what your man Bob Arum's saying now. I mean, he's senile. Listen, Bob's senile. Yeah, 100% confirmed. He's senile. Yeah. What is it with this whole Usyk thing? I'll tell you what it is with the Usyk thing. The reason Team Fury is still banging on about Usyk is because, guess what? We know it can't happen. Yeah? It can't happen. And that's what you call, I think they call it a red herring. Yeah, a red herring. Where you put the thing, oh look, yeah, oh we want Usyk. Well, you know, we all know that can't happen. So what are you talking about things that can't happen for? Yeah? How many times do I have to say? How many times does the YB have to say? Let's talk about what we do know. What we know is, you ain't getting the Usyk fight. So just forget about it. Come out and be honest. I'd have much more respect, yeah, if Team Fury came out and said, we paid El Trapahan, MTK to touch the WBC. All of us, man, right now are having a laugh at Dillian White's expense. I'd have respected that more. Instead, oh, we want Usyk and well, we'll fight Dillian. I mean, it just doesn't make no sense. If we do fight Dillian, it won't be at the ordering of the WBC. What does that even mean? In fact, that tells you all you need to know about who holds the power here. Imagine that. Imagine telling your prospective mandatory that, listen, if we do end up fighting our prospective mandatory, it won't be because the WBC ordered it. Imagine that. That just shows you how much power they have. That shows you how touched Maurizio Suleiman is. He been touched, 100%. Yeah? He been Epsteined. He touched all over. No doubt. But again, for me, this really is a bit of a messy situation because Eddie Hearn's come out recently in the last few hours and he's giving me mixed signals. And to be honest, I hate to say this to an extent, but I'm getting the feeling that, guess what? The fans have been cucked. That's what I'm thinking right now. Because all of a sudden, Eddie went from gassing it up about, oh, we're going to get the announcement on Tuesday. It went from that to, yeah, well, Dillian's doubling down with the lawyers and... What? You was adamant it was happening on Tuesday. Now, no word of a lie, Eddie was almost justifying the WBC's action. He was saying, yeah, well, it's not surprising that the WBC can't do the mandatory. I thought, what? You was just 3 days ago, you was telling us it's coming on Tuesday, and now you're saying, no, it's not surprising. So why are you not shocked? I'll tell you why you ain't shocked. Because they're all playing us. We're the ones being played here. Yeah? Eddie Hearn could have come out a month ago, 2 months ago, and said, yep, Dillian White versus Fury is not going to be happening for the meantime because we've got a legal case. As could have the WBC come out and said that. Instead, they string us along, and to be honest, I don't even care, if you've been known. I'm kind of over this sport now, but either way, got coins to get, yeah, must go to work, no doubt. But what I'm saying is, instead of just telling the fans, yep, don't worry about Dillian White versus Tyson Fury. It may happen sometime in the next decade, but that's the best we can give you. They say, oh, we got Dillian Fury. It's coming Tuesday. Tuesday comes, and all of a sudden, Eddie Hearn pulls a 180. Yeah, well, we kind of expected it. And what? What's wrong with these people? Why can't you be honest? What benefit has it had? Now, I'm actually thinking now, or I'm hearing that potentially Eddie Hearn, and in a way I have to kind of nod my head and give respect to Eddie, because this could have been a pretty good play. I'm hearing now that the reason Eddie was gassing us up about the Tuesday and the convention it's going to be announced was to essentially get public perception back onto his side. I.e., yeah, I'll gas the fans up about Tuesday, then when I know Tuesday flops, we're gonna have all the support on our side, saying, wow, look at how wrong the WBC have done us. When really, Eddie Hearn kind of gave it away now. The fact he's accepting that it was obvious they weren't going to rule on Tuesday. It's just messy, and it's truth be known. We shouldn't be talking about this. Right now, all we should be talking about is Tyson Fury and Dillian White. The fight's on. You got Bob Arum saying, well, if we do fight Dillian, it won't be because WBC's ordered it. You got Eddie Hearn saying, well, Dillian's not really fussed about fighting. He's going through the legal process. He's doubling down with the legal process. So it's all making sense now, because I said in my reaction video, when this news first came out, I said that if Dillian White's team just want the fight, they should say to the WBC, we'll drop this case if you guarantee us the fight. We'll do an exchange. We'll drop the case immediately the second you give us the fight. We now learn from Eddie Hearn, oh, well, we're not really... He want to double down with a legal case. So what I'm hearing from that is Dillian White wants damages. Dillian White wants some cash. Because if it's just about the fight, you don't need to go to arbitration you don't need to go to arbitration for a fight, do you? Unless the WBC are still refusing to give you the fight. But that's not what we're hearing. We're not hearing that Dillian wants to fight and WBC are refusing. We're hearing that Dillian White wants to carry on with the legal process, and the WBC aren't going to just hand him a bunch of money. That's what I'm hearing. If it was just about the fight, there'd be nothing to arbitration about, I don't believe. Because the WBC hasn't come out outright and said, we're not doing the Dillian White fight. So either way, the point is, it's just messy. Dillian's waited all this time to go to arbitration. Makes no sense whatsoever, truth be known. Makes no sense. Why wasn't this done 2 years ago? Many people, myself included, were saying years ago, why is Dillian waiting so long to actually file a case? The case he filed was in September 2021. You got Eddie Hearn now saying, oh, but don't worry people, apples and pears. It's going to be resolved soon. Is it? What do we know? Well, Deontay Wilder, I believe, filed his case in November, December 2020. That wasn't resolved until May. It was a good 6 months. We're only 2 months into this process. Is it going to be any different? God knows. I wouldn't bet on it. I mean, I'm being funny. The thing about legal cases for me is guess what? It's already been 2 months, and I can't understand that. What's there to take 2 months about? I don't get that. Sit down, and who said this? I forgot who it was, but someone said, in the old days in boxing, the promoters would get their fighters and sit them down, both down at the table, and they'd sit there and both sign the contract right there and then. Not email, not on the phone, where you can play he said, she said, and hide. Sit down and sign it. What happened to that? In fact, I remember, was it Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank doing it on BBC? What happened to that? In fact, I think Lennox Lewis and someone did it as well. That was pretty much commonplace for big fights. And rightfully so, because guess what? The public need to see who's flapping or not. But what's happened is, all boxers know now, it's not really beneficial to us to do that, to put ourselves out there. We want to be able to use the he said, she said. We want to be able to use the cover. We want to be able to hide behind red herrings. Yeah, all them red herrings laid out. 100% they hiding right now. Yeah, stacking them red herrings up. So what can I say? Listen, I mean, bottom line for me, I mean, if I was to bet now, I'd say Tyson Fury probably going to sit around and wait for Usyk, truth be known. Or, I mean, Bob Arum's mentioned Joe Joyce, and I will say this to be fair to Tyson Fury. If Tyson Fury chooses to fight Joe Joyce over Dillian White, I'm there for that, to be honest. Yeah, commercially and hype-wise, it's not as big, but in terms of boxing, I think it's a harder fight, truth be known. I think Joe Joyce is much more robust. We've never seen him chinned. He can hold a shot. And he's big, he's strong, he's athletic. That fight is at least as... I can't lie to you. I think Joe Joyce would beat Dillian White to an extent. Apart from the fact he's quite slow. If he wasn't slow, it'd be easy work for Joe Joyce, in my opinion. Seeing how he busted up Daniel Dubois. Now, I'm not saying Dillian White's as crude as Daniel Dubois, but listen, Joe Joyce don't mess about. Yeah, he come in there and he's got a gas tank as well. Dillian's gas tank has been sus. Dillian's whiskers have been sus. Yeah? But here we are. Listen, Tyson Fury, you heard from his team. They ain't fighting. They ain't locking into no Dillian White fight, because they could come out and say, this statement from Team Fury is basically admitting and acknowledging they could come out and say, yeah, we want Dillian, and that's what I never understood. For all these years, yeah, with the WBC, it was exactly the same with Wilder. Guess what? Wilder wanted Ortiz, he got Ortiz. Yeah, don't forget, people, that there's been a narrative all the time that, Dillian White ducked Deontay Wilder, Dillian White ducked Fury, and AJ ducked Wilder, and AJ ducked Fury. But what do we know? When each one of these champions wanted something, yeah? When Deontay Wilder wanted Louis Ortiz twice. When Deontay Wilder wanted Louis Dinosaur Ortiz from the Catskills, he got it twice. Yeah? Wilder knocked him out in the first fight, but because Wilder wanted the rematch, he got it. So there's 2 fights he got. Louis Ortiz was never mandatory. So he got 2 fights there. He got Dominic Breazeale fight. He wanted, no one else wanted. No fans wanted that fight. Yeah? So you got the 2 Ortiz fights, the Breazeale fight, and then finally, Wilder versus Fury. That wasn't mandatory. The WBC skipped over Dillian White and brought in Tyson Fury on the back of a 3-year layoff where he'd beaten no top 10s. Now, as it played out, we know that Tyson Fury was the better man, but it's the principle for me. When these guys want to do something, when Wilder wanted to fight what he deemed to believe a washed-up Fury, he got it. So this WBC, they really are corrupt, I'm sorry, it's the bottom line for me. How is it Deontay Wilder was able to dictate who he fought every time? But then people want to tell me that Dillian White was ducking. Well, since Deontay Wilder was so able to pick all these bums, why couldn't he pick Dillian? Oops. Because guess what? Dillian never received a contract from Deontay Wilder. But the same can't be said the other way. Guess what? Eddie Hearn put out, I remember at the time, Eddie Hearn back in 2017, I think, 2018, Eddie Hearn put out an $8 million offer. In fact, it was 2017, I think it was June, July. 2017, $8 million. Which at the time was like 6-7 times Wilder's highest pay. Show me where Deontay Wilder sent that kind of offer out. Now, I know it's Tyson Fury, but what I'm saying is that we're here again. It's deja vu. Tyson Fury and his team are now saying, yeah, well, if we do fight Dillian, it won't be because WBC's ordered it. That's exactly how it was with Wilder. If Wilder fought anyone, it won't be because WBC ordered it. It'll be because he decided to fight random people. Ortiz was random, Breazeale was random, and Tyson Fury was random. Even though it was a commercially good fight, still a random one. Tyson Fury wasn't top 10. He went from fighting Panini to Wilder out of nowhere. And in a way, it's disappointing that Why can't Fury come out and say, let's not forget, people, that Tyson Fury in the past, Tyson Fury said, yeah, Dillian, in fact, that's the thing, John Fury and Tyson Fury have both said, before they were champions, yeah, they both, in fact, I think even in the last year, John Fury and Tyson Fury have come out and said, yeah, we feel bad for Dillian. I'm pretty sure, I'm sure they both have. In fact, they've come out quite publicly and quite empathetically. They've said, oh, it's awful what's happened to Dillian. He's been waiting for years, give him his shot. Now, he's in that position, i.e. now the Furies are in that position where they can bequeath that opportunity. What's going on? You got John Fury saying, who's Dillian? Dillian's been beat by an old man, and it's mad. And I really would, I'd definitely gain respect for Fury if he just came out and said, Dillian, I'm not sure what's going on with these games. You can continue your case with the WBC, but I want you. Yeah, I want you bad. I'm gonna send you to the same place Povetkin sent you. Yeah? Why not? Why not? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna fight? Because apart from Joe Joyce, and I can't believe it. I can't believe Tyson Fury is gonna not fight Dillian and fight Joe Joyce. What's most likely in my mind is, if Tyson Fury fights anyone, if it's not Dillian White, it's not going to be Joe Joyce. I just don't believe it myself. Tyson Fury is not stupid. He knows the Joyce fight, he may get 2-3 million. Dillian White fight, he's going to get double or triple. Who does that? Why take an equally or arguably harder fight for a third of the money? No one, Fury ain't doing that. Fury is very, what's the word? He's very, he likes his money, bottom line. He loves his money. As do we all, but I'm just saying, he ain't stupid. But we'll see how it plays out. And to be honest, I'm just over the whole lot of it. I mean, there's nowhere, when you look at boxing today, where's really the brightness? Yeah, Fury versus Wilder 3, it was a decent fight, but since the momentum's just kind of fell off, there's nowhere really in boxing, for me at least, or there's nowhere I look at and think, yeah, there's a happy place. It's all just messy. You got Mandela Gandhi, you got the big friendly Joshua, yeah. Got that dude there. It's just a bunch of you got cruiserweights washing. It's just a big mess, isn't it? Really, you got cruiserweights who couldn't punch coming up and just stunting all over heavy. I mean, I'm over this whole game. Truth be known, I'm over it. Yeah. There's no pride, there's no shame, there's no thirst. Like the old guys, they'd be thirsty to push they'd be thirsty to push the best wigs back. It's a fact. They was thirsty to get in there and have a go. These days, it's kind of like, well, let's kill all of the momentum. Fury's got momentum right now. Ride it. I'm not saying you have to come back and fight in a month, but just say, Dillian, I'll sign a contract, we'll fight in April. Get it signed now. For April or whatever. I don't see the benefit of trying to kill the vibe.